You woke up to a series of knocking. Stop, I'm coming. You clutched your throbbing head in pain as you opened your front door. When you opened the door, you were surprised to see Dobby standing in front of you, his body drenched in sweat and his brows tightly furrowed. "Why didn't you answer my calls?" he demanded. "Dobby? What are you doing here?" Instead of answering his question, you stared at him with confusion. Dobby quickly pushed past the door and closed it behind him. He placed a hand over your forehead and frowned. "You have a fever," he noted. He then gave you a good scan up and down, noticing that you were still in your pajamas. "Were you sleeping?" You nodded softly at him. "Sorry I didn't get your calls." Dobby let out a sigh of relief as he wrapped his arms around you. Dobby? You were taken aback a little, for he rarely initialized affection. He was so scared when you didn't answer his calls. He thought that his enemies might have gotten their hands on you. Because of Dobby's, occupation, he couldn't be with you openly. So he would sometimes drop in the middle of the night, and he would give you calls during the day to check up on you. You're usually a light sleeper, so even when he called you in the middle of the night, you would always pick up. So this time when you didn't pick up, his immediate reaction was, "Something's wrong." "Thank goodness, you're safe." Dobby buried his face into the crook of your neck. "Dobby, let go. I'm gonna get you sick." Dobby lifted his head from your shoulder, but his arms were still around you. "You think you can get me sick? Are you underestimating me?" "Anyone can get sick, Dobby." Seeing your flush red face and the sweat gliding down your chin, Dobby's eyes softened. He gently dabbed his sleeve over your forehead. "Let's get you to bed, little mouse." He gently picked you up and carried you over to the bedroom, but when he got there, he noticed that the bedsheets were all soaked with your sweat. So he carried you back to the living room and set you down on the couch and told you to wait. After changing the bedsheet, Dobby came back to find you sitting on the couch, rubbing your head in discomfort. "Have you eaten anything yet?" he asked. "No, not yet." "What about medicine?" You shook your head in response. Your medicine cabinet was empty, and you were too sick to go out and buy anything. Dobby clicked his tongue and let out a low growl. If he didn't come back to check on you, you would have just laid there toughing it out on your own. The very thought of that made his blood boil. Dobby picked you back up and walked you to the bedroom, this time placing you on the clean bedsheets. He turned back towards the door, but you grabbed his hand before he could leave. "Where are you going?" you asked. "The pharmacy," he answered. "Don't go. I'm okay. Just lay here with me, please." Dobby frowned at you. Your body was already burning on its own, and him laying down with you would just make it worse. You needed fever-reducing medicine and food in your system. "I'll be back soon," he whispered before planting a soft kiss on your forehead. "Okay." You couldn't help but comply. Dobby rarely showed this much affection, so you were actually grateful for this fever. After Dobby left, you fell back asleep. When you woke up again, there was this cooling sensation on your forehead. You lifted your hand to check what it was, and it was a cold pack. You looked around, but Dobby wasn't in the room, so you lifted the blanket, got out, and left the bedroom. You found him in the kitchen, holding a piece of what you would identify as a raw chicken breast. "Dobby, what are you doing?" "Little mouse, you're awake." Dobby put down the knife in his hand. "I got you some medicine. Here, eat that first." Wait, what were you doing?" you asked as he pushed you to the bedroom. "Don't worry about it," he told you. "But can you even cook?" you asked him. During the entire time you've dated Dobby, you've never seen him cook, so knowing he's in your kitchen had you a little bit worried. Dobby's eyes peered to the side. It's true that he's never cooked, but he's at least seen you do it plenty of times. Plus, he has the recipe pulled up on his phone. How hard can it be? Noticing the uncertainty in his eyes, a nervous smile made its way to your lips. I think you should leave the cooking to me, Dobby. You walked back to the kitchen and scanned the ingredients he laid on the counter. What were you trying to make? You asked. Chicken congee? You chuckled softly. I'll do it. You grabbed a knife and started cutting the chicken breast into small pieces. Then you took a piece of ginger, peeled it, and cut that into thin slices. Dobby's eyes stung, his burnt tear ducts tingling. This is what it's like for you. You had to take care of yourself, even when you're sick like this. He can only imagine how many times you had to pull through like this when he's not here with you. Dobby wrapped his arms around you from behind and rested his head on your shoulder. I'm sorry, he apologized. What for? You asked. I'll try to be here more. I promise. He hugged you tighter. Well, that's a good thing to hear, you said as you placed the rice, the chicken, the ginger, and the water all in one pot and put it on the stove. Dobby continued to hug you as you two waited for the pot to boil. After the water boiled, you turned it down to low heat. Now, that should be done in an hour and a half, you told Dobby. Okay, I'll watch over it. You go to bed, he said. Dobby then pushed you back into the bedroom and sat you down on the bed. He then grabbed the medicine and the glass of water he previously placed on the bedside table and told you to take it. After making sure you took the medicine, Dobby laid you down and pulled a blanket over you. Do you want to lay down with me? You asked. He ripped off the cold pack on your forehead that had already turned lukewarm and then replaced it with a new one. Then he got in bed with you. He placed an arm around your shoulder, and you smiled contently as you snuggled close into his chest. You shuffled around, trying to find a good position. Dobby planted a soft kiss on the top of your head. Go to sleep, little mouse. Dobby, sing me a lullaby. I don't sing. But I can't fall asleep unless you sing me a lullaby. At this point, you were trying to use the fever to your advantage to get him to do what you want him to do. Dobby groaned as he pulled you closer to him. He started humming softly as he patted you on the back in a steady rhythm. You smiled and closed your eyes, enjoying his touch, his voice, his presence. Dobby's finally home with you, and it felt like a waste to sleep through it all, but you couldn't fight back the effects of the medication. After you fell asleep, Dobby planted a long, gentle kiss on your forehead, and he whispered the words that he rarely ever said aloud. I love you, little mouse. Get better.